governors and the 40 MPs and the senators from our region made on 29th May 2020 in Kajiado at Mzee Francis Atwoli's home, and the leadership of Governor Wycliffe Oparanya and Eugene Wamalwa.
Tumeona kwa TV iko matusi mingi sana, na matusi hayo inatoka tu kwa Waluhya peke yao. Sijaona Mjaluo kwa TV, sijaona Mkamba kwa TV wakipigana. Atwoli alipotupeleka Kakamega alituambia spokesman wa Waluhya ni Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi. Kwa hivyo sisi tuko behind nani? Mudavadi.
Well, how do you rate that movement led by Eugene and Oparanya, which seems to be enjoying the backing of the state? Can it really solidify the elusive Mulembe unity?
Two things. Those who have emerged strong and leading and successful, were they backed by the state? The last time President Boy backed my current president, he was defeated. You understand that? 2013. At the beginning, President Kibaki was not for us so much. In fact, there were the people who were saying, what were Hague, let them wait. So, backing by the state alone, especially seeing that now people are getting jittery, may be a problem. But that is not the big deal. The big deal is this. There are people I respect in my life. There are people I honor and I glorify. But I can never allow them to lead or advise me. Even if my thinking is wrong, I'll die with it. People like Atwoli cannot. I respect him, but I would not take his advice. I can take his gossip, things he has collected. If he says, I heard President Uhuru saying this about you, Mr. Weda, so do this, I'll take it. But when he wants to advise me how to be a serious senior canon, I'll tell him, my brother, what are your fruits? Because Jesus Christ says, you shall know them by their fruits. He himself is stuck in Kotu. There's nothing much as that other than the workers and then Kotu and sticking there. So how can he guide the Mulembe Nation to take over State House? I really don't understand. Especially when it is started by dividing them and fighting. Why would you fight Mudavadi?
Some of the staunchest supporters of the Deputy President, notably Laikipia Women Rep Catherine Waruguru and Laikipia North MP Sarah Korere, have trooped to the former PM's offices at Capitol Hill, Nairobi, for the so-called sanitization and are now singing praises of the handshake and BBI. What do you make of these defections from Tanga Tanga?
I've told you, look at the Deputy President, 2022, 2032. Raila has been there for how many years? Almost 30 years. And I don't know why you people don't see. All he needs is good health. All he needs is money. You understand? And then a bit of relevance. You can be relevant by being in government, or you can be relevant by being in opposition. And then there's the talk of division of constitutional amendment to create a leader of opposition, leader of in opposition, all these things. All those are relevant. Even now, the High Commissioner of Infrastructure, AU, Honorable Raila, he is a civilian like some of us. He used to be a civilian, but he's relevant because he has people following him. What you need is how many people are supporting you. If my support was to increase today in Lula to 500,000, you will see President Uhuru now saying, well, we need to talk. But since I'm only being supported by Julia and my wife, the two of you, now nobody wants to listen to him. He says, who is he representing when he's talking? So you can't just wait. This is stuck. I think it is retreat. They're retreating. He doesn't want to come out fighting the president. But if we were talking about a year to elections or 6 months, they'll come out.
Oh.
So wait, give them another year. Give them 2021 November. God willing, we will talk, and you will see now them coming and saying, and that time President Uhuru will also have taken direction. Either he wants extension of term, or the constitution has been amended, he wants another position, or he's going home. If it is clear he's going home, there will be open defiance.
Whether your professional body, the LSK, has initiated the process to expel Attorney General and Solicitor General from role of advocates during a council meeting on July 23rd for misconduct.
Now, let's get it like this. The only way you can be removed from the role of advocates is if you have committed a professional misconduct. Professional misconduct. And you have gone through the disciplinary committee. I've had the privilege of serving in the disciplinary committee for over 7 years. So you can also sometimes refer to me as an ethics judge. Many hearts, you know. So that is the only way through which you can be removed. But the LSK is proposing to remove him as a member of the Law Society of Kenya. To remove them as a... It's basically to embarrass, to dishonor. I think it's a case where, sorry to say this, but sometimes it's the man in the house is always stronger than the lady. So occasionally there are fights. And when the lady loses the fight, what do they normally do? They beat up children, they break the plates, they do what? So here, as lawyers, we also know the culprit. The culprit is President Uhuru, but there's nothing much you can do to him. So we are beating up plates, children, whatever. So the first casualty is the Attorney General. The Attorney General is helpless in this matter. This tiff with the judiciary began even before the current Attorney General came into office. And if you are an advisor, you must be asked for that advice. If you are not asked, what do you do? The problem is the president. And I always I'm telling my professional colleagues, let us find a way to deal with the president now or in future. But hurting other people, that's because we want the president to see. Yet the orders are being disobeyed, not by Kiara, not by Ogeto. It's being disobeyed by the president. And it is deliberate, and he knows it. And I'm sure if Paul Kiara was to go and say, Your Excellency, I think this is wrong. You must appoint these people. He will be told, can I have your resignation at 2 p.m.? If you don't ask to embarrass you, just bring. That's it.
What's interesting though, Weda, is that Senate Majority Leader Samuel Pogisi and Chief Whip Irungu Kangata paid a visit to the Chief Justice on Monday.
How the judiciary can cooperate and work with the Senate. There are quite a number of matters that we work together.
Our matters were just directly Senate and the judiciary. We did not have dealing with matters that are executive. It's a good thing to relate this way. We are beginning well. We want to begin our leadership with just understanding what are the issues so that when they come to Parliament, we are able to deal with.
Both Pogisi and Kangata are allies of the president. So do you think they were on a mission as emissaries to make peace with the CJ?
No. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I thought this CJ is on his way out in the next 3-4 months. So his influence has waned, especially now that he also has a tiff with the president. The president also has dug in on appointment of the 41 judges. Which digging in is not right. But the Judicial Service Commission have also become what I call obstinate. They are also not being tactical. They are not being strategic. There is no law which requires that if you send a list of 41, then they have to be gazetted, all of them at the same time. The president can gazette one, another one 2 weeks, 2. Another one 3, another one like that. So standing on that is standing on weak ground. However, the president also does not have a right to select. I don't like Weda, I like Julie. No. That part is not his. What would have been done is this. The judiciary should have agreed that the ones who do not have problems, that the president and his people are not raising issues, be gazetted and sworn in. The ones on whose behalf issues have been raised, let the president and his men raise those issues formally at the Judicial Service Commission as complaints for their removal. Because some of them are sitting judges, so even refusing to promote them has no basis at all. Then let these things be investigated. If they are cleared, then they are sworn in their new positions. If they are not cleared, then they are left. You understand that?
Uh-huh.
So the position the president has taken is unfair. The position the Judicial Service Commission is taking is unstrategic. And the executive holds the knife and the yam. They may not stop you, but they'll cut very small knife. I remember in a polygamous home, my mother was a second wife. Mzee can come with a kilo and a quarter of meat. So a kilo is taken to another place and a quarter is taken to your house, and you people are 10 of you. So that is exactly what now the president has been forced to do. Nairobi Metropolitan, 18 billion.
Yes.
Or the judiciary, I don't know, 2 billion. That exactly.
Meanwhile, when the courts opened this Monday, June 15th, 2020, so how are the operations in the courts with social distancing and other health protocols?
I think for now, the courts, there are things which cannot be done virtually, especially actual hearings of witnesses and so on. So the opening is now with the current realities. Numbers are controlled, distancing, matters which are not, you need not attend court over, you will attend virtually. So it is like trying to reopen. We are observing, we are looking. If it turns out that there is escalation of infection, we'll go back to the old whatever.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about police brutality now, and we have seen protests around the world against police brutality in the US, but closer home, there have also been shocking incidents involving the police, like the woman in Olenguruon in Nakuru who was tied to a motorbike and dragged through a rough road. Here's the Rift Valley County Commissioner George Natembeya talking about the ordeal faced by Mercy Cherono.
To emphasize that in any family, you also have some wrong people, some from black sheep, and the police not 100% decent. You find 99.9% of our officers are good, but then you find just one person who may come out and do something. Then it's like we start to condemn everyone. Those who have engaged in criminal activities, of course, they'll be taken to court. Those who stood by and watched as a was being assaulted again, their election of duty is equally an offense.
Thank goodness for mobile phone cameras, whether because just like the George Floyd incident in the US, the case of Mercy Cherono may never have been witnessed by the world. The question is, after all of us have publicly expressed outrage and anger, do the victims of police brutality like Mercy ever get justice?
No, let me tell you this. He has said 99% of police are very good. I think that is a big lie. 40% of police are good, 60% are rotten. And this is endemic. Why do I say so? This is where we drag in our failed cousins, our failed children, the difficult ones, the troubled ones. Those who are prongorokos are taken there. They are taken either to the police or to the army. Do you understand that? So that is problem number one. Problem number two is training. They are trained anti-human. In fact, not long ago, they used to wear their headgear, on the ice. They used to wear their headgear on the ice, and then they used to change their tone. And then number three, they are police do not know how to say, excuse me, please. In fact, if you find one that talks politely, you become very scared. You become respectful. I've met somebody so respectful that you go down. After you maneno of being a lawyer, you put down because of respect, honor. Those are very, very few, including senior police officers. And they have been brutal. Some of them, sometimes I talk to them and tell them, the world has changed. Be very careful. Please, when things become hot, you will be alone. We thank God for the cameras, the world over. You know, even in Britain, in America, you could see that the demon of brutality. Floyd dies. A week later, they shoot another one. Another day, they step on another one. That shows you how much it was. You try to tell them there are phones all over. They don't understand. And imagine the American police. They also have cameras wired on them. But they still do that. So it is training, it is attitude, it's the type of people we put into the police force. If we are to alter this, there must be eternal vigilance by the people of Kenya. It has always been only lawyers. And they have tried to fight lawyers, and we have tried to fight back. There should be eternal vigilance. there should be also training. Police know that they are police on our behalf. Did you know that every policeman that I have met, people have asked me to intervene, to talk to, I don't know, the president or who, to police officers, my relatives, they want to go to traffic. Tell me, take me to traffic, tell them to take me to traffic, tell them to take me to the weighbridge. Do you understand? I say, my brothers and sisters, you are thinking it's about corruption. You're just thinking how to collect money. And if you look at the traffic, they just collect money easily. So, it is an endemic culture of a culture which we call utadu.
Yes.
Now, that is when they can easily slap you. But it has reduced over the years. You know, there were days when holding you by the waist, it is the waist,
Yes.
was a mark of excellence. The way a policeman can grab you by the waist and then now you can't walk. That was a mark of excellence. Serious, whatever. Then the way they could slap you quickly, ta, 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 and kick you. We thank God there has been major improvement, but it is because of vigilance. It is because people have stood up. So we are going to buy more photos, more
Smartphones.
and we are going to photo everything. Capture. Even men who are beating their wives will capture. They never will capture. The capture weather, as you say, then when you finish, you say, praise the Lord, Canon weather. You say, Mr. Weather, we have this question. Are you still Canon?
Globally, people have been pulling down monuments of statues as a break from the brutal past. And the hit list includes statues of figures of history like King Leopold of Belgium, Britain's wartime Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and even Baden-Powell, founder of the Scouts movement, who is accused of having been a racist bigot. Should we begin to relook at the characters of historical figures and their actions?
You know, when you want to sanitize people, you give them things to see. You give them statues, you give them a name, and then faith comes by hearing by, meaning repetition. When you are being taught music, I hope you are taught music when you are in school. How do they do it? They teach you stanza one again and again and again and again and again. Repetition. So when you wake up and you hear distorted history, and then you see it, did you know that the figure you see, sorry for my Catholic brothers, the figures you see like Mary, Mother of Jesus, you know that is not the photo of Mary, Mother of Jesus. That's just something which has been created and it is now mine. And we even bow to it because this is Mary, Mother of Jesus. So you give people images. You give people images. And that's why Jehovah himself, he says, don't bow to any image or likeness. So they gave us history. King Leopold, Sengo, he did this, Wabango, Asiba, what. Yet these were crook slave traders, thieves. And people committed suicide because of their bad depression.
Finally, Weda.
Yes.
The funeral of the popular musician Bernard Onyango, aka Benny Jachiga, in Kisumu County dominated the headlines most of the week after clashes between police and mourners who wanted to be given time to pay their respects to their beloved musician, whose best-known song is called Banuka Sinde, about the practice of some women referring to their lovers as their cousins.
Eleza siku tatu hatuna shida. Ile kitu yote unaweza fanya lakini mambo ya kuchimba Ben kwa shimo hakuna kitu kama hiyo.
Serikali yetu ya Kisumu County hatujafurahia kabisa. Ben amezikwa saa 8 usiku kama mwizi. Na ni mtu alikuwa amejulikana. At least wangemwacha alale kwa boma yake watu wamuone.
Cognizant of our cultural practices. If the culture dictates that we don't bury at night, please just hold on for another 12 hours so that we're able to.
Mourners at the funeral of the musician and acting health director general Dr. Amoth calling for cultural sensitivity on the disposal of bodies during this COVID-19 period. What did you make of that drama?
I think let's blame the people. What they did was wrong. People are not just being buried because President Uhuru likes people to be buried around and quickly and loose and whatever. I've told you we buried a canon. Some of us could not attend, yet we are fellow canons. We should have been there robbed because of the circumstances of the times. Now these people stopped the burial
Yes.
on the day. So what would the police have done? Yet you would be infected. We know there are people who are suicidal in their lives. I've said and I repeat, there are people who got HIV and they knew it. And they said, I will not die alone. But there are people who value their life. So, I think the night barrier was because of circumstances. They were forced. And my people should learn this. They should know this. So, it doesn't matter. In a death, there's no big fellow. His Excellency Jomo Kenyatta Hayati buried kwa ground. Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi kwa ground. Uyo musician kwa ground. Whether you are buried with the choir singing and the band marching, you are buried. Whether you are cremated like our Archbishop Manasseh Kuria, you are gone. Until the King of Kings will come and shout, and then all of us will rise. So at this time, even me, I say, if I go via COVID, should be cremated very quickly, and ensure the family remains the same. Then you can hold via Zoom memorial service and say it was canon and display the photos. But otherwise, going there to bemoan our hero. Which hero? Singing some songs which are actually Lipotosha watu wengi. These people tell them to sing. This were the mourners. I'm sorry to say. If you ask them to say the Lord's Prayer, they have no idea. Leave alone to tenderness. These are the songs. Yes. Why? If you have you know Luos were our cousins.
Yes.
Yeah, Obama is our cousin. Lupita is my cousin.
Lupita is your niece.
It's supposed to be my niece, but to look big, you say cousin, you know, because that gives you the royal family. So I think the barrier was unfortunate, but it was justified in the circumstances. If I was in charge as a police officer, even if I was the MP or MCA, and even if I was his brother, I would say because of the rowdiness of the people, and then their own safety, let's bury them. Let's bury and let's be quiet. Our
regular analyst Ambrose Weda Esquire, advocate of the High Court, board member Lake Basin Development Authority, canon in the Anglican Church of Kenya, published author and soft skills expert.